Engineer report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Only thing I have at this moment is I'd like to recommend the hiring of Donald T. Napper for the full-time operator. Grade C, step one, effective April the 12th. That's the only thing I've got. Thank you, sir.
Questions and comments from the engineer?
Update on our, where all the, the contract piping is working on, those plans or?
Yeah, they haven't, of course, they left us, week before last, at the end of the week. They worked through Friday, they only stayed with us 1 week, and pulled it off. We're supposed to come back the next week and finish their, spot leveling on 1107. And due to weather, they got bumped back and, cause they told me they will try to be here tomorrow with the plan. I had somebody call and I talked to them myself, and I was told the plan, last I heard about 3:30. They expect to be here tomorrow to finish 1107. The spot level on it. Then they're going, but that's not our main crew that's supposed to be here, it's just a fill-in to finish that. It's still gonna be another 2 weeks before that crew comes back to pick up and continue on. But it's gonna be a slow process because of how many roads we have to be done in these two contracts, that it's going to take a couple to 3 months probably to get most of it done.
I have one thing. I spoke with Mayor Board and also City Manager Range. I think he's talking to you about something else, but in reference to the dumpsters that we was asked about finding Runnage, City of Runnage already does, like for big items, they pick in certain days. However, Mayor did ask to do it in a way we could put one down when near the old landfill used to be down on Galloway Road, at the end of Galloway Road. Because we had to probably quite a bit
Yes, sir.
to go out there and do that stuff. So that was what the suggestion that was made from the City of Range.
And I think we had a list back, it's been a long time ago now, we had a list here, I'm not sure when we started the discussion and put the one out at our office. I think we had that was on our list for the Runnage area. So I think we kind of had that tentatively marked as a potential area there going.
I just want to let you know that I did check it and I told
I think it'd be a good idea for you to do, look through there and see if there's an on-highway site that's functional. And if not, what we have to do is start looking at where else we may find in the area.
I want you to.
Because our biggest concern, if I remember, and somebody correct me, is one, have a safe spot to get off, build, not block the road, get off, build the road. Two, being able to police and monitor it to make sure we get a bunch of household stuff in it that we can kind of have some video of who did what.
Yeah, and I think pick up and drop off, had to have enough room for two, so that you could just drop one off and pick up the other one.
because this was like a world reveal that, it's like problems there. As you go down the house, you have to be real careful right there. But people are making a way to put it because they're dropping everything there
Yes.
from now, so.
But, yeah.
Might be a landowner who's willing to help because of that issue, the property's getting it anyways.
Anybody else got anything? Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, sir.
You got one?
This will be my last meeting. Tomorrow will be my last day. I get to leave in the time of National Telecommunicator Week. So our folks are coming for the regular meeting at 6, and hopefully we'll get a picture. I think y'all should have the proclamation in the room.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Return report out.
No report, Bob.
Does any commissioner have anything to report on at this time? Administrative report?
There's not anything on the agenda under my report, but I did just hand you all a letter that we just received in the mail this afternoon. The Secretary of State's office has sent out a letter letting us know that they have some HAVA funds available, and they would like to use them to do some GIS mapping to help out with the border registrars as far as precincts and districts, statewide, countywide. I'm sure it would even go down to cities and towns, to be able to help them know where they're placing the voters in precincts. This is something that we may need to act on. I'm not sure if we'll have our next commission meeting this month, but they need a response by April the 28th is what the letter says. I believe that's right. Yeah, Friday, April 28th. But this may be a nice fix to being able to have all the precincts and stuff that we have out the border registrars, I'm sure tremendously. I've not had a chance to talk to them today, but this is probably something we might want to look into.
So the question, I guess it's a good thing you guys are here tonight. So here, we traditionally track that through y'all's side. Is that something that we're saying we want to do away with? We're going to,
Well, it would take the pressure off them from having to get this stuff mapped and done, and it would be in a centralized place through the state.
yeah, well, that would be our issue. So we don't want to do away with, because if I'm going to one side, I can go to the E911 side, I can see who I called if I have a fire, or who's responding, obviously I'm dialing 911. Who's coming as a fire, who's coming if it's the sheriff or police officer.
Yeah, and this would not do away with this. This would be strictly related to voting precincts, that sort of thing.
I guess what you're getting at
Secretary of
is,
State's office is on.
we're already funded and have a functional way to do that in Pike County without.
And this may be clear, I just haven't had a chance to really look over it.
And the other important thing would be, like, what we've got and what David and them help us out with is for commissioners, maybe city council, but y'all don't go in and put anything for state offices or that sort of stuff on those maps, do y'all?
We've got the data, but we don't currently put it on there.
Yeah.
For state offices, it wouldn't matter.
I've got it on my map, but
It would matter to the board of registrars where they're making sure they're placing people, that kind of stuff. This would kind of put their information in a centralized place.
You know, and
I would not want to do away with what y'all are doing too, though. I mean, I think we would need to keep doing both sides of it. But this may be an option that would help.
well, and whatever they do, we can still post the map to the public. It doesn't have to be, they can. And me and Chris Oger have been very, GIS was fun. Robbie's good with GIS, but he may not want to spend the time that it takes to do that, so that may be a burden, so that's really.
What's his cost on this after the first 2 years?
They did not give us a specific, it would be the maintenance for this. I think right now for the maintenance portion, what do we pay, a couple $1,000 a year for maintaining the GIS? It may not be through y'all, that may be more through Purvis Development that would do that. Or maybe every 4 years that we're paying that maintenance fee. So I don't have a maintenance cost. And it's some stuff we can look into. The issue is if we don't do this and don't have a second meeting in April, we're not going to be able to join in at all.
But there, just from reading what I see so far and looking over it, there's still an option here if you don't want to continue it after 2 years. Am I correct?
Right. We would have to start, depending on when you get in, because they're going to take around 20 counties in 2024, and I'm assuming that's on the first come, first served
That's what it says.
basis from the way it reads.
That's what it says.
And then in 2025, so that would depend on whether you had 2 years of maintenance or one.
we want to get a board of registrars every tool they can have. Our citizens, right, I think the tool we have for them is multifunctional. Okay.
What else on that?
That's all I have on that.
Okay.
Under current business, I'm going to Let me go ahead and do the janitorial service RFP. This will be for the janitorial services at the new judicial complex. We received 2 bids on that. One from Jenny King of Montgomery for $105,576 annually, and one from Apex Commercial Janitorial Solutions for $117,600 annually. These bids both do include the day porter services, which is why we went back and redid the bid. And there would be some after-hours cleaning of like the main areas that would be just hallways, that sort of thing, public bathrooms, that sort of thing, so that they would have time to get those items done too, when other people weren't necessarily in the building, but it would keep them out of locked offices after hours when no one's there. I would make the recommendation that we go with the Jenny King of Montgomery, just based on the fact that the price is $105,576. It was, both of them answered and responded with doing the cleaning services on the days, times, weeks, month, annually, whatever they were, that were requested, that's how they would be done. So they met that, so I would request that we award that bid. Of course, it would not start until we actually move into the building. And that'll be discussed with him on the actual start date of the contract.
Are they going to have someone at court time be?
They'll have a day porter there every day. There'll be a day porter there every day that the building's open. That's why we redid it, to include that in there. So it would include that. Let me see. I'm gonna skip over the courthouse renovation because I'm gonna want Tommy to come up here and talk to y'all about that for just a second, and skip on down to, the other item would be number 9, that, County Board of Equalization appointments. These appointments, it's come time, it starts in October of this year for the new appointments. Us, the County Board of Education, and the City of Troy each nominate one person. I talked to Revenue Commissioner Curtis Blair. They're happy with the person that they have and would like to continue. That person is willing to continue to serve on that Board of Equalization. I know the Pike County Board of Education's person wants to continue to serve on the Board of Equalization. I talked to Dr. Brazil and heard back from him. He is happy with that, wants to keep that the same. And then I've not heard back from the City of Troy yet on their person, so we're just waiting on that, so we may just want to forward that. We're not in a huge hurry, we still have to this summer to get that in, but we do have everything ready to go once we hear back from the City of Troy. I'm not making any changes to that. I don't have anything other than, I do want to remind y'all that the county holiday, there is a county holiday set for April the 24th, it's a county and state holiday, that you have a scheduled meeting on that night if you want to cancel that, reschedule, whatever you want to do with that meeting.
Any more questions or comments? Thank you.
All right. Get Tommy to come up here. And just so y'all see, Sherry walked in, I think he wanted to come and talk to y'all tonight too.
While waiting on Tommy, I thought, I just do want to update you, the notice, and y'all may have seen in the paper, the notice for the local act has started its publication and running. It has to run once a week for 4 weeks, and I have to look back at it. It's probably in this third week, I would think, so we're getting close to. We have a calendar at my office on it. We go pick up the affidavit and get it from Montgomery. So that's closing in on getting that done. And then, the notice for vacating a portion of County Road 2233, number 4 on the current business, that has started running, and that public hearing is going to be the second meeting in May.
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
All right. Back in February, you guys approved the 65% of commission for going on to 95% of construction documents for the renovation of the county courthouse. Since that time, the architect has discovered through this development of plans that the existing courthouse was built, has fire-rated corridors, but it does not have fire-rated, or not labeled fire-rated doors and frames. He believes that we're gonna have to bring it up to code when we do this renovation, which would mean either taking out the existing home, no frames and doors, and replacing those, or installing a sprinkler system. We're gonna go to meet with the city, code officials and see if we can get them to grandfather in the existing home, no doors and frames, since they've been there for 70 years and haven't been an issue. And hopefully we can eliminate the requirement to upgrade either the doors and frames or go to a sprinkler system. If, what we've got on doing right now is showing the sprinkler system as an alternate, so you can see exactly what that cost would be. And even if the code official says you don't have to do it, you may decide you want to, then you'll have that alternate on there so you can see the actual cost. That cost for that sprinkler system would cause us to go over the budget program budget that we had established. So in order to maintain that program budget, we would have to delete some of the in discussion. So just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. The only other changes on the plans since the 65% submission were some changes at the executive session office. We flipped a couple of rooms right there, and we told you that 65%, that it would be shown as 95%, and that change has been made. Other than that, it was only minor changes from some of the users. So, we're about 2 weeks behind schedule on that. That's been mainly just trying to get things moved around, and this door and frame issue kind of threw them for a loop, so.
Yeah, and we just need to forward this to the next time until you get the information that we need.
That's what I told Mackenzie, that, probably best to let you guys review this, let us talk to the city and see exactly what they want to make.
Okay.
Proceed next week. So Mike and I will try to get that done next week.
Okay.
See what we can do.
How's it going over the jail?
Always like to finish. I mean, we're.
Maybe I should have brought that.
You know, it just seems like this last few weeks, we just can't get there. You know, the contractor's making good effort, and everything is looking really good. We feel like it's going to be good. The jail will probably do a final inspection by the 28th of April, the way we discussed. The judicial complex, we think it's going to be mid-May before.
Okay.
Furniture is installed, and we got the young lady from AI that's on the punch list on all of that. She has some items that are damaged, of course. During that much installation, there's going to be a few pieces that get damaged or damaged from the factory. As you all know, this is the second delivery of furniture. The first delivery came in as wet, had to be sent back, could not be accepted, and they did get it turned around really quickly, and we got the furniture in time, so that all worked out well. But we'll tell you, they shipped it in refrigerated. We finally found out why it was wet. They shipped it in refrigerated trailers.
Somebody needed to load it.
We thought they tried to load it in the rain or something like that, but we kind of find out that it but anyway, we're very appreciative of AI Interiors out of Birmingham for really looking out for the condition and looking out for the county and making sure that you got what you're paying for on that.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day. Be careful going on.
All right.
Come on up, Sheriff. Sheriff.
Now, I just drop in on you, I was talking with Mackenzie this afternoon, we've been out at the complex in the jail, and getting wide open and didn't realize that y'all met tonight there. But, we've got a revenue problem in the sheriff's office because of the permit. We're probably gonna lose somewhere between $100,000 and $120,000. In 2021, when this talk started, we were a little over $11,000. Drop from 12 to 11. Last year, we dropped to 8. This year, we're down to 3 in January. We're probably looking at $100,000 shortfall, and each year, we'll get to be less and less till there's nothing there. The legislature said they were going to reimburse us. We lost $25,000, we got $2,200 in Montgomery. Mobile lost $250,000, they got $60,000. So their math in Montgomery is the same as our math. We've got more demand now than we've ever had. You know, we're required as deputies to have minimum 12 hours per year. Vests have to be upgraded, body cameras have to be upgraded, radios, those are things that I've paid for. You know, I'm budgeted $0 for equipment, and I never asked. Y'all are really good to me, and that's not the complaint. I feel like I should do my part, and I've always paid for a lot of stuff, somewhere around $100,000 a year. But that money's not there anymore. People don't realize, it's like Chief Martin was talking, people don't realize what it takes to run an operation like we run. Ammunition, county used to spend $8,500 to $10,000, we shoot $40,000 worth of ammunition. We go to SWAT school, we train our SRT team, we qualify on the range 3 times a year. I have firearms instructor, I have 2 going to the FBI Academy. Firearms instructors get their certifications. I've got one, he went through SWAT school, and the second one they invited to be an instructor, so he teaches at the academy for a week, 2 or 3 times a year. Go to hostage negotiation. After the case happened in Uvalde, Texas, in the school situation, we upgraded all of our vests to level 4, helmets, communication, our shields that were stopping AR-15. We upgraded our pistols. We went back to the 9mm with the red dot. Our scores went up in the high 90s and 100s. You know, because if you need your firearm, you don't need to shoot an 82. You need to shoot 100 when it's needed. You know, I had a former Troy police officer last night who's now a trooper, got shot. Y'all probably heard about it. Got into a chase, routine traffic stop. Don't know why they ran. Shot the trooper. He killed the female who was doing the shooting, and they arrested the male. You know, it's getting really, really close to home. You know, we took a gun off a 6th grader several months ago in school. It's a different environment than we've ever dealt with. We've got to train, we've got to maintain that high standard, we've got very good people. But saying all that to say this, you know, we've got 50 employees now. Even the cooks have to go to school. And the jailers, they got back last week from classifications. You know, when you classify, you have misdemeanors, you have Class Ds and Class Cs and Class Bs and Class As, but you can't put the As, your capital murder, your murder, rape, robbery, with your misdemeanors, your Class C felonies, or your Class Bs. You have to break them out. If you don't, and you have a fight or somebody gets hurt or injured, like we had one last night, guess who's on the hook? I mean, we just don't have the space in the old jail. Thank you to Tommy, he's been a pleasure to work with. He understands it. But our jailers have to have a tremendous amount of training. And I have 3 going to, we're very involved in the Alabama Jail Association, which the county commission pushes. And we have 3 that'll be gone for 4 days to jail association training. You know, our staff is fixing to increase to probably 22 to 25 people once we get into the new facility. The security folks we just talked with said, Sheriff, you can't run that thing with 5 people per shift. We're running 4. We're hoping to add an addition. Said, you can't run it. You can't run it with 5 people per shift when you got 3 stations to man, you've got booking to man, and you got a road that's got to be moving. And so anyway, saying all this, say this. It costs more than ever to run a sheriff's office or a law enforcement agency. And if we get ready to purchase something, we got to put it on the agenda. We got to come talk to you. Have to get your blessing. We have to advertise it or bid it. We got to come back and get the bid, and then we order it. The sheriff is exempt from the bid law in his discretionary accounts. And if I needed it, if it were a computer, I bought it. I don't know if the county's ever bought us over 1 or 2 computers. I think I've always paid for all our computers out of our funds, well, those funds are not there anymore. Several years ago, 30 years ago, I started an inmate phone system with Talent Communications, used Talent out of Selma. They had a company, and as chief deputy, I put it together, presented it to the commission, and as time went on and things have evolved, different companies come in, we couldn't find anybody, sir. They sold out, and that company changed hands 3 times, and we couldn't find anybody that would service the old jail. They said, we're just not coming down there. Anyway, so we did get NCIC to come in and do the best of the business. But back when we were talking about inmate fall money, I had the choice to keep the money and go into my jail discretionary account or give it to the county commission. And I opted to give it to the county commission because the county commission funding, county commission is good to me, and that's before some of you were on the commission. A lot of sheriffs kept that money. And hey, we needed it, but you know, we've just always survived. We've never had enough money, but we've done okay, you know, with our discretionary. And I guess saying all that to say this, to give you a little history, is I would like to keep our jail inmate money to train our jailers. And I would handle the training for the jailers, to send them to school, to pay for their training, registration fees, their hotels, their food, and but I can't do it currently as we exist, and we can't live in the budget that we're living in, because we didn't know what to anticipate the passage of that bill in the legislature, and it's a lot worse than any other had imagined that it would be. So I guess I'm just asking the kids that I've talked about it today. I just finally got a minute to give last week, which is employer, and I thought y'all met next week, and Ryan had asked to call her on something. I said, well, let me talk to her when she gets finished with you, and so I talked with her about it, and I hated to just drop it on her, and she said, well, we meet tonight, but I said, well, can I come over and just talk to him and explain it to where I'm at? So I called Kevin Williams in Marion County, and I called Matt Gentry and Coleman and 1 or 2 others, and I said, what do y'all do? They said, well, we get our money, and it's deposited into our discretionary account for the jail. And you know, some of them can't believe it, but I've been okay up until now. And you know, Mackenzie's sitting there with a $2,200 check for the last quarter, and I lost $25,000. I mean, you know, and that's going to get worse. It's going to just finally run away to nothing.
Let me ask a question on that, because
Yes,
you
sir.
probably know better than me. That was one of the things that was on our county platform this year. And one of the things we were going to try to ask for, and I don't know, I'm asking because I hadn't heard, and I really hadn't thought about it, I need to follow up. As I understand it, the formula was based on last year, which is what's catching us all and stuff. The formula was based on a year where it hadn't happened. And there was some push that we were going to try to make a push to go back and get an amendment on that bill or redo the bill to take it back to the 2021. Have you heard any traction on that?
Your association, our association are pushing that. I don't know whether we're getting any movement on it or not. If we do, you know, it's only a grant for 2.5 more years, and it runs out. And the threshold is $5 million. The $5 million won't fund 67 county. For example, Madison County bought every patrol vehicle they had out of that money. That was the agreement they had with the county commission. Guess what? They no longer buy any vehicles, the county commission doesn't buy it, but they can afford it in Madison County, you know? And so smaller counties like us, even if that money were 80 to 90% restored, and that's not going to happen, it wouldn't pay for the amount of training that we're going to be doing now. You know, I'm going to have 20 to 25, 20, 30, 25 people working in that jail. And as Adam knows, when we get sued, and he and I talked about it Thursday at Bird Road about a lot of things, the first two things they ask is we want to see your policies, and how much do you train? They're going to sue you on negligence in training and failure to supervise. Well, if your supervisors don't have the training, those shift supervisors, those assistant jail administrators, the captain that oversees it, then how are they going to train the jailers? And it is very, very expensive. It's going to be very expensive to keep 23 to 25 people where they need to be as far as training. And you know, when we get sued, that affects all of us. You know, in going on 29 years as sheriff, I don't think we've ever paid out anything, have we, Ellen?
Not that I know of.
That's unheard of, Commissioner. That's unheard of in law enforcement. That is unheard of in a jail, which is the oldest in the state of Alabama. And then all of a sudden I had three, boom, 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 you know, but we're out of two. We only have one pending, and I feel really good about it. But lawsuits are now more common than they've ever been, and, you know, Adam's helped keep me out of trouble and out in front of things over the past 29 years, and I really appreciate it. But look at here, I've got a cell phone number, and anytime I call him, you know, he picks up the phone and talks to me about it. And we were talking about this one pending case Thursday or Friday when they're in each other on the square. But I don't want to get sued, and I surely don't want to lose a lawsuit. I don't want to put any of you in that position. I respect each one of you, and I'm very proud to work with you. Y'all been very good to us. We wouldn't be where we're at in that complex if it wasn't for this group we have right here. You know, we've kicked that can down the road a long time, haven't we, Chairman?
Sure
A long time.
Sure has.
Realistic, Dave.
How many times have y'all served on a committee through the years that talk about things that never got nothing done? I give y'all credit. But anyway, that's what I'm here for, just asking for some relief. You know, it's not a lot of money. You know, a school now, I sent our entire SWAT team, our SRT team, special response team, to Anniston. I sent them in 5 and 5. Some went through phase 1, it was a week long. Some went through phase 2. All went through phase 1, some went through phase 2. One got asked to go to the academy and teach as an instructor, and now he's been asked to teach at the academy in Anniston. But I don't know that I'm going to agree with that, but it would be a couple of days a week, once or twice. But anyway, say all that, say this. I've got others that are going to go through phase 3. We're scheduled to go to hostage negotiation. I've got 2 negotiators. We're scheduled to send our team, or half of our team, to training. Maybe it's in North Alabama, it might be in Anniston, for hostage search and rescue. That's more of the SWAT SRT training. 3 of our investigators are state certified investigators. Now, when I say that, it takes a year long to get that. You got to go for a week, and then a couple of months later, you go back for another week. And that goes on for 12 months. 3 have gone through it, and the other 2, just really because of money. We hope to get them in later this year to start their year-long process, and all 5 of our investigators will be state certified. I mean, everything from photography to prints to interrogation. It's a very, very thorough school that's run in Anniston at the old Army Depot. But, you know, people don't understand when you talk about training and what it takes to run an agency. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money. Vests, you have to upgrade vests so often. I mean, it's just, you go on a belt, gun, body camera, ammunition. You go on and on and on and on to the tune of about $100,000 a year what we can spend and paying for the jail. That jail is probably more critical now than it's ever been, that we get it right. Don't you agree with that? And you can't just hire people anymore and send them down there. You know, they need to know how to classify inmates when they come in. They need to know how to take them out of intake, take them to that cell. And do they go in medium, minimum, maximum security? All those sort of things. You have to fight in the cell, you lock that guy down, but he's still got to be fed 3 times a day. He's still got to have his clothes cleaned, he's got to have torch. I mean, you know, you need to know all that. So we don't, excuse me, what we don't want to get caught on is a failure to train. And I guess what I'm asking is, if I'd be allowed to get the jail money, it would free us up some to be able to train our jailers. And, you know, years ago, we agreed with that in Harris here many years ago, you know, and it's not going to cost you anything to do it, except you'll give up the inmate call money. Can't go in there. I'm sorry to be so long, man, but I think,
You know, there's a lot of information, and it's not something we're gonna be able to do for you today. We need the information, and we need to chew on it, and we need to find out how we can pay for it. I mean, I know you're telling me, we got funding, I get that, but can we give you that money today? Probably not.
that's good.
I mean, we probably gotta go through some kind of process to make that happen. I don't think anybody in here doesn't want to work with you, everybody in here
What you always have.
does,
Yeah.
but we gotta go through the process, so.
And I thought the reason I sped it up is that I would have to have a bill, but I already have a bill in place. I called a couple of sheriffs and they said, well, you've already got a bill just like we've got, and it just goes in our account. You already have the bill in place. So I kind of told the kids, I said, I feel rushed because, you know, I gotta get y'all to agree on, I guess, a resolution, then you gotta get the bill drawn up, the legislative reference services, and then we gotta advertise, and then you gotta get out of the house and send it, but I don't have to do that, so there's not a rush on it.
Well, I mean, if we need to be training in the interim of getting this handled, we just need to be, however we normally are invoiced for stuff like that, we need to be, we're gonna help you through that. I mean, McKinsey and I tried to call all.
I was gonna let McKinsey explain all that.
This afternoon, and, when I got in, and we just hadn't got an answer back, we just wanted to make sure we were dotting our i's and crossing our t's.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But, you know, whether it's written over to the discretionary, we just gotta pay a bill, you seem to be telling us what we need to be doing to keep everything straight. We're gonna keep, you know, we're gonna keep it that way.
And I appreciate it. And then I'm just thinking long-term down the road, I've never had to do this. And, but that's where we go. But thank you.
We'll get on to you. Thank you. All right. Anything else need to come before the commission at this time? Pike County Commission work session will now come to a close. We'll reconvene in about 5 minutes for the regular meeting.